Alrighty, we are going to get started. I just started the recording. Elizabeth, if you would like to begin with your introduction, we can continue from there.
Okay, hello everyone. In the interest of language justice, I will begin with Spanish. Buenas tardes, soy Elizabeth y seré su intérprete de español con la Community Language Cooperative. Quiero agradecer su compromiso con la justicia del lenguaje, lo cual significa que todas las personas tienen el derecho a hablar y ser escuchadas en el idioma de su corazón. Entonces, interpretaré esta reunión del inglés al español simultáneamente. Una vez que termine de hablar, se activará la función de interpretación. En ese momento, elija su idioma preferido en la barra de herramientas en la parte inferior de su pantalla, presionando el icono de interpretación. Si usted es bilingüe en ambos idiomas, no es necesario elegir uno. Por favor, recuerde hablar a un ritmo de conversación para que pueda brindar una interpretación precisa de su mensaje. Gracias. Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth, and I will be your Spanish interpreter with the Community Language Cooperative. I want to thank you for your commitment to language justice, which means that all people have the right to speak and be heard in the language of their heart. Therefore, I will be interpreting this meeting simultaneously from English to Spanish. Once I finish speaking, we will turn on the interpretation function. At that time, please choose your preferred language on the toolbar at the bottom of your screen by pressing the interpretation icon. If you are fully bilingual in both languages, you do not need to select one. Please remember to speak at a conversational pace so that I am able to provide an accurate rendition of your message. Thank you. Can the host please turn on interpretation at this time?
Okay, I think interpretation should be on now. You can click your channel and we will begin.
If you are in the English channel, can you please give me a thumbs up? Thank you very much.
Okay, so to get started today, there were two main things that I sent out on what we will be talking about. The first are federal marker bills for the Farm Bill, two main ones that have been introduced or are about to be, and then the state budget amendment based on the action alerts that we sent out. Before we get into those, I also want to quickly touch on a potential action alert or just an update that I want everyone to be aware of, which are that there are two public comment periods open right now. You probably have heard if you're in other groups related to this. So essentially the USDA is proposing two new rules that they would like to promulgate or create. And there is an open comment period for the public to comment on the proposed rules if you would like to do that. The first one is on meal patterns and changing some of the meal patterns in place for the National School Lunch Program and adding a local procurement specification option to allow schools to buy local more easily. I will drop the link to that in the chat in just a second. And then the second public comment period open right now is about the community eligibility provision or CEP, which is a way that schools can get free lunch for all students based on the levels of participation in other federal benefit programs like SNAP or WIC. So essentially by lowering the number that's proposed in that rule, more schools could participate in this CEP provision and more schools could be able to serve free lunch for all students. So quickly, I'm going to drop both of these in the chat and you're welcome to ask any questions if you'd like. Okay, I don't know why the links didn't go. I can fix that later and we'll just send something out later too, but I'll just put the names at least for now. Okay. And then, yeah, moving right into the marker bills, I created a PowerPoint to go through two of the marker bills that are at interest today. So let me just share my screen. Alrighty. Can everyone see that? Yeah, it looks good. Okay, great. So I'm going to keep updating this PowerPoint and keep adding marker bills to this as we talk about more of them. But to start with today, we are talking about the Farmers Market and Food Bank Local Revitalization Act and the Local Farms and Food Act. There's also a link to this PowerPoint going to be in the chat. And on this PowerPoint is a link to our marker bill tracker with all of our tracking of all the marker bills that have been introduced relevant to food systems in our Farm Bill platform. If you are interested in learning more about where they're at, who has introduced them, or the summaries about each one. So to start with the Farmers Market and Local Food Bank, and Food Bank Local Revitalization Act, there are four main sections of this bill. The first is the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. So if you remember, this program does not yet exist in Colorado, and one of the main features of this bill, hopefully creating more resources for the bill to help Colorado participate in this program by having more money available to fund it in Colorado. It would essentially expand the program to be able to meet nutritional needs that exist right now, as well as program backlog. For the states that already do participate, there's a backlog for how much money is available versus how much is requested. So just overall increasing the resources for that. It would also increase the eligible income limit to 200% of the federal poverty level so that more people would be eligible to participate in the program. And it would increase the minimum benefit limit for each person to $35 per year, which is not that much already. And that is over the whole course of the season for the farmers market. It would also remove a cap on the maximum amount that someone could receive. So 35 would be the minimum and there would be no maximum. And then for the WIC Farmers Market Nutrition Program, this bill would increase the individual minimum benefit to $35 per year and increase the maximum benefit to $60 per year, which would be a significant change and very beneficial to families that are eligible. In terms of how this bill supports farms and farmers markets, there is specific financial support being added in to what the USDA does for farms and farmers markets. It would direct the USDA to make loans, loan guarantees, and grants to public agencies and nonprofit organizations that could then fund the construction of new farmers markets or the rehabilitation and improvement of existing farmers markets. This can be through physical infrastructure changes, buying equipment as needed. It can also be used to add or improve payment technology used as farmers markets, which is really important because farmers markets really need wireless technology and they need to be able to have machines that accept EBT for SNAP, which a lot don't because that does require pretty specific payment technologies. So this would be a great way to get support through money out to farms and farmers markets to be able to participate in those programs and make their markets more accessible and bigger so that they can have more produce available. The fourth piece of this bill is for food banks. And it's really about local coordination with farmers between farms and food banks. So it would create a new pilot program to promote local produce procurement that would allow food banks to choose to contract with their local farmers to grow food for them. This is not how it works currently, and there's not really a connection piece that allows food banks to be connected to local farms. This would be a very interesting pilot to see how that goes, trying to set something up that intentionally connects farmers with food banks who are providing food to their communities. If this bill went through, the program would make 15 grants available at $500,000 each. There's supposed to be another zero there. Okay, so if you're curious about learning more about this bill, I again have the links dropped in the PowerPoint that you'll get later to read the actual bill text that should be coming soon, or our summary of the bill that I have in a document to the right there. NSAC, the National Sustainable Agriculture Coalition, also posted a press release on this bill, And the sponsor of this bill, Representative Capter, posted a press release as well. Does anyone have any questions about the first bill? Or actually, yeah, we're probably seeking feedback on what you think. I know that I ran through that pretty quickly, but in terms of the 4 aspects of what this bill would introduce, does anyone have any feedback or questions about it so far?
Hi, this is Ali Saad. I'm a climate and health policy fellow at the University of Colorado. And I'm just wondering, are farmers markets really set up in a way that they're easily accessible to people by public transport or by car? Like, I mean, it's great to have, farmers markets available to people of all, income levels, but I'm just thinking, what is it practical for them to go to these farmers markets?
This is Wendy at Nourish. I'll jump in on this. Mickey, you can answer from your perspective as well in the past. So the bottom line answer is it totally depends. It's all across the board. Farmers markets are located in literally every size of community in the state of Colorado. And you have some that are in the heart of a pretty urban area and completely busable and walkable and bikeable, and some that are in a really teeny town in very rural Colorado that doesn't have a bus within 100 miles. So the answer is it's all across the board. I think part of what some of this money can go to is actually making accessibility and infrastructure improvements in new and current farmers markets. So that part we like. I'm just going to assume something that you may be getting at as well, especially around the senior farmers market nutrition program piece. So one of our questions for you all as well is like, what maybe isn't in this bill that we would like to see in this bill? This bill has been introduced in the House. It does not yet have a Senate champion. We have been in communication with Senator Bennett's office around this bill. They are interested. So I think we have some opportunities to say, hey, we really like this bill and we'd really like to see the Senate version maybe do a few more things. So putting this aside, this is the kind of feedback we're wanting, maybe what isn't in here that needs to be in here. But the other thing that I think maybe you're getting at a little bit is that for us, we're really interested in the senior farmers market nutrition program piece of this above the rest of this bill. Just that's where we're at as an organization. But one of the pieces that we've been continuing to ask for is that up to 50% of the senior FMNP program could go to non-traditional farmers markets models. That they could go to an aggregated model like a CSA delivery, home delivery, aggregating local produce that then is like delivered to a senior center or to homes, things like that. So those are the kind of things that we will advocate for and want some more feedback on about how we can make this a little bit stronger. That was a really long answer. I hope I took that in the right direction. But
no, that's really helpful. Thank you. I mean, I think it's key, especially for senior people, that they have delivery options, but also just to make things more practical for people that are able-bodied. We want to encourage them to go out and do their own shopping just because it's good for their health.
Yep.
And if they can go to Safeway or King Soopers, wherever it is they can go, and they can use benefits and just get all their shopping done in one place rather than go to the farmer's market and then inevitably have to go to a traditional supermarket to get canned goods and cleaning products, etc. That would be wonderful.
Yep, agreed. And what we're aiming for, yes, and in terms of ease and access and convenience, and I think we're aiming for here as well is then how do we really specifically get access to a really high quality fresh produce product that's also dollars going to our local economies and to our farmers, and yet also addresses some of those issues and allows for some flexibility around delivery. So there will always be a farmers market focus to this, which we also love and support. To your point, when elders visit their farmers markets, they're often places of real community and connection and support that we love, but we want to be able to see there are a few options. So what are other, given that I think there's still some time to maybe give some feedback on this bill before it has a Senate companion bill, what are other things that anyone on the line has ideas of things maybe, and you have questions, that's great too, other things that you think you might want to see in here?
Wendy, I can just add on to that. And I really appreciate your comment about the sort of inclusion of these non-traditional farmers market models. I know from experience working for farmers markets, there's always this kind of catch-22 of why isn't the farmers market in an area that, you know, isn't the wealthiest neighborhood in the town, right? That's a constant criticism of farmers markets, and it's a valid one. And farmers markets kind of have to play that balancing act of making sure that when the farmers are there all day at the market, they're making as much money as possible. So that's kind of where the tricky area where farmers markets fall, and empowering markets to have sort of like a mobile market option to reach communities that aren't right next to the farmers market, and have a need for easier access to produce. I think that's a really important inclusion.
I'm copying.
Oh, good. We're just reading the, thank you, Mickey, for articulating that so well.
Mhm.
And we're catching up on chats here too.
Andrew?
Yes. Hello, everybody. My question is this: with all the food deserts that we have here, even in just Metro Denver, how could you add putting a farmer's market in like a food desert area?
Okay, Andrea, tell me if I'm taking this the wrong direction. It's Wendy here. I think one, I wonder if this, and if it's not in the bill, we can perhaps ask for this. This bullet here around financial support for farms and farmers markets, I wonder if there could be a priority given to markets that are opening up in underserved and lower income neighborhoods. That's certainly something that I'm going to admit I don't know the bill by heart, may already say, but if not, we can ask for that to be added. And then also, are you looking at that other bill? Becca, is that what you're doing?
No, I was
Oh.
looking, I think it is in this bill actually, but I'm
Okay.
checking.
Because if not, I was also wondering, there's another bill that's been that we're not going to talk about, but it's specifically around grants to grocery stores for locating in certain areas. And I wonder if that other bill can include farmers markets as well as grocery stores.
Is my screen sharing showing this?
Well, I'm looking at like my particular area per se. There's really, for what I've been researching and finding out there, they say there's really no location in my area for a grocery store as such. So that's why I'm saying probably like, even if we have to use the city park
Exactly.
is to set up a farmer's market that's coming to food deserts in neighborhoods that even is disparity, such as my neighborhood.
Yep.
That's the struggle, and it's kind of seem like I hear it in what's trying to be done, but I don't hear it, and that is creating sustainability in such communities.
Right, so really getting into like the local ordinances of where things can be built, instead of just funding farmers to be able to sell their produce there, like we need infrastructure too. Or at least permits to be able to sell food in parks like you're saying, or other creative places.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, yeah, and I just want to note too, if you can see my screen, this is the bill that we're talking about right now. And there is some things in there about requiring prioritization for the grants and loans to areas of financial need and markets that would provide local produce. So that's good, and we can advocate for more of that being present. And then the bill that Wendy was just mentioning down here, the Food Deserts Act.
Horrible
This
name.
yeah. This is one of the new introduced bills that would, unfortunately, we don't love that it's grants and not loans. But it is loans that can be provided to establish new operations of grocery stores in underserved communities. And there's more explanation here of what that means, but this also prioritizes grocery stores in underserved areas, an emphasis on
Hmm.
unprocessed healthful foods, fresh fruits and vegetables, sources from local and urban farms and gardens, and providing community benefits. So very interesting. I think we would like it to be more of a grant to get things started instead of a loan that they would have to repay, but still an interesting bill here that has been introduced.
And there's room there, I think, to expand their definition of a grocery store.
And also with that, is there a way to add education to that?
Yeah,
Okay, great. I just got to talking to a student about that type of idea.
well, Andrew, I think that's a good point too, going even back to the farmer's market and food bank bill. Is to and y'all gave this feedback to us on our separately on our Farm Bill platform. Thank you very much about focusing on, let's get some outreach, education, awareness, promotion written in here as well. Sounds good. That's great.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. So in terms of time, I'm going to move on to the next one, but you're always welcome to reach out with any other questions or thoughts. Thanks for sharing what you have so far. The second bill here is the Local Farms and Food Act. So this one has not been introduced yet. It's going to be soon. And what we have is based on a draft bill that we received, which we can also share the outline of with you all. This one has also 4 main parts to it. The first and the heaviest part is on LAMP, or the Local Agriculture Market Program. It does various updates to the program's definition and purposes, including adding a food hub as a defined term and program eligible entity, which is really cool. So food hubs can then participate in LAMP and get LAMP programs and money. It also adds regional
Make
food
sure when you adjust it,
coordination.
you hold it steady.
Oh,
Like, don't just grab it by the screen, because you'll
Hold
crack the
on,
screen.
you're unmuted.
So when you adjust it, yeah, like that.
That's all. So they might-
Okay. Yeah, like, don't do it like that, you'll crack the
Oh,
screen.
Someone
if you're
is-
It's like supported very well.
Ali,
You'll have a lot more desks.
Okay, there we go.
okay, you got it.
Okay, so yeah, so by adding regional food chain coordination as a program purpose, this would also work towards incorporating more value chain coordination into the LAMP program. It also adds grant opportunities for purchasing general purpose equipment and supporting the logistics required for redemption of federal nutrition benefits at direct producer consumer markets. And that's really exciting, just as we mentioned before, to buy different EBT machines or point of sale machines to be able to accept federal benefits, whether that's through wireless or whatever else you might need at a farm stand or a farmer's market. USDA would also be directed to prioritize work that would provide a greater geographic balance for LAMP program benefits. So spreading it out to rural areas, urban areas, wherever it is needed and most equitable. Also some things that we had in or still have in our Farm Bill platform. It would reduce the value added producer grant match to 25% for certain smaller farming operations. And it would reduce the farmers market and local food, what is that, production?
Wait,
the- Yeah, this is the 2 programs.
oh yeah,
combined.
farmers market, local food promotion
Yes,
programs.
thank you. Grants, long name, essentially 2 different programs that support farmers markets and local food production, but they provide grants, and it would be reducing those grant match requirements to 10% for certain smaller farming operations. And it would add turnkey grants for those that are requesting smaller grants under $100,000 that would have simplified applications and no matching requirements. So making them more accessible, easy to use, and easy to manage if you are a smaller entity. In addition, it would overall increase the mandatory funding to $75 million and increase the authorization of appropriations to 30 million. So just giving the whole LAMP program more money to do more work here. And then after LAMP, it also addresses the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. The main line that it has here is just increasing the mandatory funding to 20.6 million and increasing the authorization of appropriations to 10 million.
And that's new.
Yes.
Yes, because it didn't have,
Oh, right. I see what
yeah,
you're saying.
sorry.
No, you're good. I wasn't going to say that, so that's important to say. There was no authorization of appropriations before. An authorization of appropriations is essentially allowing the program to have flexible money added each year, where the mandatory funding is a set amount that the program gets. So it's important to have both because how much the program is being used will need some authorization appropriation money. So adding that into the SFMNP would be really impactful. For GusNIP, it would increase GusNIP is the nutrition incentive program at the federal level through the Farm Bill that provides produce incentives. So in Colorado, that's Double Up Food Bucks. So that program is funded by the GusNIP fund at a match of 50-50 right now. And other states have it too. It's not all across the board federal the same, but there's a federal grant through GusNIP that can then be taken up by different states. And right now, with it being a cost share of 50% each or 100% match, you might want to say, that's really burdensome, especially for both small organizations and small programs that can't raise enough money to get the federal money that they want, or for really large states and large programs that need such a big program and so much federal money that they have trouble raising millions of dollars to support the program. So reducing the match requirement, or how I have it written on the screen, increasing the federal grant cost share from 50% to 75% would reduce the local match to around 33%, so that less local money, less state money, philanthropy money would be required to get the federal GusNIP money available. It would also introduce a separate review panel for the GusNIP program that includes healthcare experts for applications to the produce prescription program or food as medicine, different aspects of the GusNIP program. And then on the produce prescription, oh, that's probably the same thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, guys. The produce prescription panel is the same, but I listed twice for some reason. And again, we have the drafted outline of the bill at the bottom, and we'll let you know when that's introduced. So now we can open up the floor to any thoughts, questions, or ideas about the Local Farms and Food Act.
Becca, will you just throw the link to it in the chat so we can click on it?
That's a good idea, yes.
Thanks.
I know. So many screens. And this is, this bill has not been introduced yet, so it still has some work to do. So if there's anything that you all see that you don't see, that you think you'd like to see in this is a really good time to get us feedback. Like, what are maybe some key things that you'd really still like to see in this bill? And just your question, these bills are not on our website, no.
They're
The
on
tracker.
Yeah, so they're on our tracker, which is a link in the PowerPoint, which I just dropped. So that's where all of the bills are and explanations and things like that. And Laurel, about the interest rates on the loans, I think there is. I think it said something about.
Oh yeah, but they're very low to
Oh, wait, that's probably not on there.
low to zero.
Let's go to that one and see.
And was she talking about the grocery store bill?
Maybe she was. actually.
Laura, were you talking about the
Yeah, the first
desert bill?
article.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. I'm looking for it too.
Okay. Sorry, I'm scrolling around everyone. Shall be made at or below market interest rates. May be an interest-free loan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's more compelling if grants can't be offered instead.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there something to be said for marker bills asking for something like grants with the expectation that could be a bargaining point, that it be reduced to 0% interest loans?
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how this works, but
Yeah, I think this is, and we're not deeply involved with this bill. I actually don't even know who the sponsors are, but this is the market, this is a good time to like ask for what you want. I feel like that's what you're getting at, Laurel. And then no, you're not gonna get it all.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why not shoot for the moon is my question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Say grants, maybe we could say, could this be grants and or loans? And could expand the definition of a grocery store. Those could be two simple asks that they may come back and say no, but I think they're good additions.
I might add the FMNP program. I wonder if there's like a way to request that that the farmers market can hold more of the accountability and less of the farmers. I just, in my experience managing the FMNP program, just the fact that every farmer has to sign a contract and do a training, yeah, we lose some folks there. And then the farmers have to fill out their vendor number on the voucher. That creates a load there. Yeah, I guess I wonder if there's any possibility to sort of let the farmers markets absorb more of that admin work.
Yeah, great point.
Mickey, I think there's also a lot of flexibility in that, especially with electronic options coming down the pipeline. I think the whole idea is to make that system a lot more approachable. I know there's a lot of barriers with individual vendors.
I think the electronic options that I've been hearing about actually put more burden on the farmer because the money doesn't go through the market. And so every farmer that wants to accept it has to have like a card reader or something to scan the image on the sticker on the card. And I foresee losing a lot of farmers in participation of that program, and then challenges for the market saying we participate in this program, but some of our farmers have refused to like get a, to participate. That can be really tough. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, totally. And maybe this is another conversation too, because I love your input and I think those are such important points. But I think there's pros and cons. Like it also allows the farmer to be paid directly right away, which is really beneficial. Whereas right now, like it's like 5 systems of processing money and counting paper that gets lost.
Yeah.
And ideally they can like check a box on their app or online that says like, I agree to these terms rather than like, again, pushing paper and moving around agreements. But yes, it definitely comes with so much support for vendors to be involved. And there's still a lot of burdens to being involved in so many different programs with different regulations. So I think in general, like that's what we need to keep working towards is like less restriction, more money for food for people without all these barriers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to talk more about this. I had a conversation with Emily Bash about certain things, and yeah, I don't know if there's anything that can be helped here. It is tough though.
Okay, thank you for that. There's so many more bills too that I want to talk about right now, but we're already way over time. So I will just quickly to address what I said that we were going to talk about the action alerts. Thank you so much for everyone that sent an email to the delegation about the state budget amendments for the SNAP Outreach and Navigator program, as well as the Healthy Food Incentive Fund to fund Double Up. Yes, I'll be doing in 5 minutes. Sorry, I'm trying to, I'm ready.
I'm not helping him help.
It's okay. Okay. yeah, so thank you so much for doing that. And there will be one more action alert coming out on Monday morning. So keep an eye out for that as it goes through the joint budget committee. I tried to explain in the email how it has gone through so far, but essentially it has passed both the House and the Senate side. So now we need to reconcile with the budget and see what the budget committee awards for this amendment. So we'll let you know what happens and we'll let you know when the action alert comes out. And yeah, nothing is official yet. We just have to see what happens, but thanks so much again. And I think we're good, right? Good. Okay, thanks for sticking over time, especially you, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, you all. Have a great afternoon.
Thank
too.
you.